So if you collect knives and have any size of knife collection, more than a few, your favorite probably changes. Whether you sold them and bought a new one, or if you have a handful and you kind of cycle through them, whatever your favorite knife is to carry, or your top carries at the time, probably changes sometimes. And I kind of wanted to go over what my top three are right now, because it does change a lot, but I've noticed lately I am gravitating towards these three knives. So I kind of wanted to take a second to just take a look at them and go over why they're my favorites right now. So first we'll start with probably the one that I've been carrying the most lately, and that's this Quietcarry Catch in Vanax. Since I've got this knife, I've probably carried it more than any of my others. It is, in my opinion, one of the best sizes for EDC carry. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's got enough blade to get the job done and enough handle to get a nice full grip on it, and enough jimping right there, and a perfect position for the thumb. The action on it is some of the most addicting action that I have on a knife. It's right up there with the Oz Rosie at about a third of the price, which still isn't cheap. Now it does have that double clutch with the detent on the drop, so it will stop on the detent ball when you're disengaging it, but usually you can just clear it right away and it'll freely drop. And this is just with the thumb studs and the washer, just some of the absolute best action of any knife that I've tried. Like I said, it's right up there with the Oz Roosevelt. Ergos. This also has some of the best ergos for me for a medium to small size knife. I have large hands, so to have a knife that is a nice smaller carry but still big enough for my hands is a really nice thing. How much of this knife kind of extends out past the thumb is just the right amount to do some nice cutting tasks. It just really performs greatly. I did some tests on the Vanax. The Vanax is great. Quietcarry's whole thing about being stainless knives. I live in a coastal town, live in Florida. There's rivers on one side, there's oceans on the other. You know, we live in a swamp. It's always raining, it's always wet, high humidity, inside and outside of the house. It is just a constant thing. And to have something that I can carry and really not worry about any level of corrosion resistance is nice. So I do appreciate them doing having a full stainless construction, really nice stainless Vanax steel, really good edge retention on that as well, and of course completely stainless with that nitrogen based steel. And it's just, if I just want a knife to sit around and play with, you know, everybody does, most people do, this is the one I'm reaching for. Love thumb studs for that kind of action. Really can't get enough of this one. So let's move on. Next we'll go to the Chris Reeve Large Inkosi, and this is the drop point. And talk about ergos on a large knife. This one feels like it was just fit perfectly for my hand. Like the way that my fingers line up and the thumb for the thumb ramp there, like it feels like it was custom molded for my grip. And that's just when I know I'm going to need a hard use knife that I don't have to worry about getting beat up. We got that super tough Magnacut. Chris Reeve's reputation for durability, this is the one I'm reaching for. So if I just want to grab a knife and I'm not going to have to worry about, you know, it's not something that I would necessarily maybe take my Oz Machine Co. Rosie to, that I'm going to use, this is going to be the one. This is my knife for the end of the world for a folder. The pocket clip. Their pocket clips, they do stick out a little bit so they can catch on stuff, but as far as like ease of in and out of the pocket and retention, these pocket clips are some of my favorite, and I don't really have any issues with that being a hot spot for me. Like I feel it in my palm, but it's not a point for aggravation when I'm doing a lot of cutting tasks with this one, and I do a lot of cutting with this one. I've done the edge retention testing where I break down a bunch of cardboard and cut some ropes, and this one just performed really great. Was really happy with this one. Also, this has very broken in action for a Chris Reeve, and that has a lot to do with it as well. If this was fresh out of the box, I might not have the same opinion about it right now because they are very stiff, but this one is very broken in, so it is a little more of a joy to carry. You know, I don't mind slow rolling a knife. You know, I don't need a drop shut knife. I don't care about drop shutting at all, but I do like being able to flick it out quickly. It is convenient. It's fun. You know, we all like to do it. They're tuned like that. Knives are tuned like that more often than not for a reason. It's got that nice deep hollow grind on it as well, and some of the best treated Magnacut out there. Just really one of the, if I had to only pick a couple out of the collection to keep, this is going to have to be one of them. All right, moving on to the last one. Now, this one's a little different. So, we got $300, $400 knife, $400, $500 knife, depending on if it's new or used. Then we have this $27 guy from Amazon. Let me tell you. One of the reasons why, first of all, the main reason why this knife is special to me is because this was one of the first knives that I got for, I had a company reach out to me to send me a knife to just do a review on. So I sent it. It was my first knife that I got for free to do a review on, or in exchange for doing a review on, so to say. And that's just kind of makes it have a special place for me. That's a big milestone for anybody trying to start a YouTube channel, especially in the knife community, to start getting knives to do reviews on. That's a big thing. I like reviewing knives, but I can't buy a knife every other week to do a new review on. So if a company thinks that I'm doing a good enough job for them to send me a knife to do a review on, well, that is a win-win in my book. This knife has very addicting action with the way that pivot button lock is set up. It's got a little, it's like a angled spring, like an angled piece of steel that works as a spring, because when you depress the button, it actually brings the liner towards the button. But it is a pivot button actuated liner lock in there. It took a little breaking in. It was a little stiff at first, but now the liner lock works excellent, and the front flipper, it actually works really well too. It was way too stiff when I first got it, but I've been playing with this thing, and the action on it has broken in very nicely, and it's really good. Now, this is an excellent knife regardless of any of that, as well, as far as the steel and the blade shape go. This is one of my favorite blade shapes. Perfect for utility, perfect for any cutting task you throw at it. The D2 steel is actually treated pretty well. I did sharpen and use it quite a bit to kind of give it a little test and see. It sharpened up very nicely, took an extremely keen edge, doesn't lose it right away when I try to actually use the knife, so it's probably treated relatively well. And it's a fun fidgety knife with that button lock and the flipper, and also because it's just a $27 Amazon knife, this is like a real beater. This is going to be my real don't really care what happens. If it's sentimental because it was my first knife to review, but also it's $27. I could get another one if it really something happens to tear it up that badly. But I think it could handle it. It feels like a solid knife. The lockup is, 100% solid. It's good to go. But just wanted to take a second to take a look at the knives that are my current favorite. These are kind of the top 3 in my rotation right now. Hope you found this interesting. Thank you for watching.